Okay, so it's time to get a new to you car, right? So a $22,000 used car can easily become a $30,000 decision before that first year is over. So if you are shopping for a vehicle right now, or you think you might need one soon, you need to hear this episode. Thank you for joining me. I am Jewlz The Budget Nerd, and I'm super passionate about helping families, especially those moms with ADHD, manage money and day-to-day life all at the same time while we're managing those fun ADHD symptoms that allow us to just have a lot of fun in life. And so sometimes making big decisions can be so overwhelming. And also, like myself, I get into this decision fatigue where I'm like, I'm just going to put this off. And so today's episode is especially for you if you find yourself getting in those moments where you just put things off because you don't want to make those big decisions. And so today is to give you some tips and things to think about when it comes to car shopping so that you can make an informed decision, but you can make a confident decision too. All right. So today we're going to talk about the one mistake I see over and over again, one I've made before, but also a simple mindset shift that will help you save thousands of dollars, hopefully, on this new purchase. So when we ask ourselves the can I afford it question, can I afford the payment, we are actually hiding the true cost of what the vehicle takes to keep it on the road, right? So sometimes we can stretch out, if we are getting a loan for the car, we can stretch out the loan so that it lowers the payment, but that also increases the amount of money paid over time. It can leave you owning more than the vehicle is actually worth. And so that's something that you want to keep in mind. There's also some of those hidden costs initially that we can, really lose sight of. And that is the sales tax, registration, insurance, fuel. We know that one's going to be there, but some, tires, we have to be able to replace tires, brakes, oil changes, and any other repairs that come up when we purchase a vehicle. And so this is where the $22,000 car isn't really a $22,000 decision. All right. So the next thing is we want to make sure that the vehicle that we're purchasing is going to meet our family's needs and a few other things. So highly encourage you to check out the reliability of the vehicle that you're interested in. Have the vehicle inspected. Now, this part might cost you a little bit, but in the big picture, it could save you thousands and thousands of dollars. So if you have a friend that's a mechanic, or you can just hire a mechanic to come check out the vehicle that you want to purchase, whether you're buying it from a dealership or if you're buying it from a private seller, having the vehicle inspected is super important. And then build that repair fund before you even purchase the vehicle, is having a repair fund, because cars, whether they're brand new or they're 30 years old, things happen, things need to be repaired. And so we want to make sure that we leave some room in our budget, build that repair fund, because buying a reliable car isn't necessarily about buying the cheapest one. It's about finding the one that's going to fit your budget and fit your family's needs and continue to support you after you bring it home. So that's super, super important. So I just recorded a whole workshop on how to buy a used vehicle and also the true ownerships of it inside our Alliance Coaching membership. So there's a worksheet in there. There's questions to ask the seller, a budget planning sheet. So before you buy your next vehicle, spend 15 minutes figuring out what you will actually cost and not just what it costs to buy it, because that one habit will save you thousands of dollars and also help you stay on track with your financial goals. So let me tell you a story about how this backfired on us. So when I say us, I'm saying my husband and I, because we bought this car. He was working at a dealership at the time. And so we thought, okay, you know what? It's the same amount that he was paying for the car that he was buying. And that car we were upside down in, which means that we had owed more than it was worth. And so we had to roll that into the new loan. It was a disaster. And so we ended up having this car payment on this car that we loved. It was super fun to drive, and it was more on the luxury side. So there was a lot of extra things that we didn't necessarily need, but it looked really cool and it was so fun to drive. So we were about to be newlyweds at the time, and we get it. And we were financially not in a super solid, amazing spot. So we didn't have the funds set aside for the repairs. We had, we'd factored in insurance and the, taxes and the tabs and things like that, registration. But one thing that we didn't factor in was the cost of how much things were when they broke and whether or not we could fix it ourselves. So some stuff on this car would be things that we could fix ourselves, right? And then some needed a mechanic, and the one specific one was the driver's side window. We put it down. So we live in the Pacific Northwest. We rolled the window down one day and it would not roll back up. And so we needed to replace the motor in the window, the electric motor in the window. Got the window up, and guess what? It stayed there for years because we could not afford the cost to replace that motor in the window. And so it stayed like that. Even when we sold the vehicle, that window wasn't working. In hindsight, the cool thing was I did not go through drive-thrus because I was super embarrassed about pulling up in this car and having to open the door to order. And so we very rarely went through a drive-thru unless it was mandatory. We would go inside or just skip the drive-thru altogether. But all that to say is those things can come up and we can be driving something that might meet all of our needs. But when something breaks, we have to decide, hey, is this something I can repair myself? Is this something I'm going to have to, take from that repair fund, or am I going to have to live with it? In this case, we just lived with it, and it became a story for this episode, but it was one of those things. We had purchased more car than we were technically capable of paying for. And so I just want to use that as a cautionary tale that remember, when we purchase a vehicle, it's not about the sticker price. There are so many other factors that go into that. And I unpack that all in that workshop. And it gives you some practical tools. So as you go into your car shopping experience, you have those ready to go. So if you want to get some more information about the membership and that workshop specifically, I'll leave the info in the show notes, but you can also go to Jewlz The Budget Nerd, JEWLZ, thebudgetnerd.com/membership and learn more about the membership there. And I would just love to help come alongside you to make this decision with confidence so that you have a vehicle that's going to get your family to and from all the places that you need to go, but reliably, efficiently, and most of all, with a smile on your face, because cars are a big part of our life, especially in the US, getting to and from places. It's super important. So we want to make sure that it is the best possible scenario and it's not going to drain our financial goals and allow us to continue to accomplish all the other things we want to with our finances. So I hope this episode was helpful for you, and I'd love to see you inside the membership. Talk soon. Thank you for tuning in to the Debt Rebel Show today. Ready to take your family budgeting to the next level? Stop that paycheck to paycheck grind and start living debt-free? Head over to my website, debtrebelpodcast.com. That's DEBTREBEL podcast.com to grab resources, tools, and tips to make it happen. And don't forget, subscribe, leave a review, and if you know another family that would love hearing today's episode, it would be such a gift for both of us, your friend and me, if you share this episode. And remember, your debt-free life starts with one brave step, and I'm cheering you on every step of the way. We'll talk soon, Debt Rebel.